What is up, everybody, on this Tuesday evening? Welcome to Loren Live. I am your host, Chris Gergen, and joining me tonight is the insubordinate one, Mr. Loren Culp. Loren, how are you tonight?
I'm doing great, Chris. Hello to all of you insubordinates out there. Appreciate you joining us.
So we have a lot going on in the news media. I'm sorry, we have a lot going on in the United States, but not very much going on in the news media. Pretty much the one story that has dominated all of the news cycles has been this situation, this trial with Kyle Rittenhouse. Clearly self-defense. At least from my perspective, and I know a lot of the folks at home feel the same way. I know you do as well. You put out a tweet the other day that had a video attached to it, and for the benefit, not everybody on the show tonight has Twitter, so maybe they didn't see it. Could you explain a little bit about what you said and kind of your perspective on what's going on with that case?
Yeah, this is such a sham trial. It's not even funny. This Kyle Rittenhouse, he should not have been charged. Everybody in the world has a right to protect themselves, whether that's with your hands and your feet or with a weapon of any kind. And that's all that he did. And it's very clear. I haven't sat through and watched the whole thing, but what I have watched, this prosecutor is the one who should be on trial. He should go to jail for putting this young man through this crap. It's absolutely ridiculous. And then I saw that he was trying to demonstrate to the jury with an AR in his hand, and he points it right at the jury with his finger on the trigger. I mean, this guy, he obviously probably has as much firearm experience as Alec Baldwin, and we saw that how that turned out. But it's a joke. It's an absolute joke. But Kyle Rittenhouse is not on trial. American gun owners are on trial. The gun is on trial because
the
it's
right to self-defense.
Yeah, it's one of those. Oh my gosh, a scary black rifle that apparently this prosecutor doesn't know how to handle and is probably scared of, right? And they want to demonize that. And so self-defense, people protecting themselves against criminals, is on trial, and it's an absolute joke.
This prosecutor, Mr. Culp, even called the looters and rioters and arsonists, called them heroes. Heroes in his closing remarks.
That's what the radical left does. Good is bad, evil is good. And it's totally turning everything on its head. And if you don't believe him, you're racist. I'm so sick of that. The only people that are racist are the ones running around screaming that everybody's racist. The president of the United States, for crying out loud, if you want to call him that, Brandon, I think people are calling him that now.
Let's go, Brandon.
He's saying that Rittenhouse is a white supremacist. Based on nothing. We saw the same thing with Obama. He was vilifying police officers, not even knowing anything about the cases. And that's the same thing that knucklehead's doing right now.
It was interesting that the left has really had some difficulty fitting the square peg in the round hole when it comes to racism on this issue, because all four people who are involved, the two decedents who were killed that evening, and then the guy that was shot by Rittenhouse in the arm, and then Rittenhouse himself, are all white people. Yeah. And this had nothing whatsoever to do with race. There was no involvement with race. Like there was this. And so they have Jesse Jackson now. That guy's about as big of a clown show as you can get, other than maybe Al Sharpton. I'll say Al Sharpton's probably a bigger clown show, at least in my book.
Baiters. Yeah, they're
absolutely
just race baiters.
And so now, now he's in the courtroom because they're trying to get a race angle here, because that's the only card really that they can play. And it's so now I guess they ended deliberations today. Have you heard any more about this, or should I explain it?
It's up to the jury now. As far as I
It is,
understand,
yeah.
they've asked for some clarification on some things.
Yes.
But yeah, apparently they're getting threatened as well. They're fearful
Yes.
for their family. Black Lives Matter is threatening to burn the town down if
Yep.
he's acquitted, which absolutely makes no sense whatsoever. Why aren't they in Chicago, where 30 to 50 people are shot every single freaking weekend in the most heavily regulated gun control city in the nation, just about? Um, and they have all these murders and shootings going on all the time. Why aren't they there taking care of that, right? But you have a young man who defended himself clearly against criminals, and these people have been arrested and convicted of crimes, not even supposed to be near a firearm. But one of them has a pistol in his hand and points at Kyle Rittenhouse. I'll tell you what, the only thing, as far as I'm concerned, Kyle Rittenhouse did is he didn't shoot that guy enough. I mean, I would have unloaded on. If somebody points a weapon at me, they're getting everything I got. It's absolutely ridiculous to have this young man on trial. So that's what I got to say about that.
Yeah, I agree 100%. Last week we were supposed to have Robert LeMay in Washington State. We have our own form of dictatorship in Washington State with King Inslee. That guy's a laugh and a half. I mean, honestly, if the guy wasn't so stupid, I mean, all you can do is just laugh at this point, because, crying isn't going to do any good. With Inslee has now, there are floods all over Washington, and our thoughts and prayers go out to those folks that are having to deal with that, primarily on the west side of the state. I've got a lot of friends, as do you. The campaign has a lot of friends as well on that side, and I've seen some of the pictures and video and so forth of this flood, which is really engulfed the I-5 corridor, really from top to bottom. Very, very difficult situation. And now, because Governor Inslee has fired a vast majority of a lot of the first responders and different people that are supposed to be helping with this thing, now it's basically citizens who are out there, trying to keep their communities safe. And frankly, as property owners, they should be. Right? They should be, but they should also have the assistance of the state, which,
absolutely.
I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but doesn't the state have a constitutional mandate to help in times of crisis, like actual
only
crisis?
only if it benefits King Inslee, right?
Correct.
If he can keep power for 2 years and dictate whatever he's going to do, then it's fine. But yeah, I mean, he creates these stupid mandates. And these people have been out there taking care of the roads, taking care of sick people, going to accidents, helping people in need, in crisis, for 2 years. And now he makes this stupid rule that, well, if you don't take the shot, then you're going to be fired. These people were on the front line the whole time. And this, I did an interview with Robert LeMay a couple days ago. We tried to get him on the show last Tuesday, but we had technical difficulties with his sound. But I interviewed him over the weekend and recorded that. And I think that, well, why don't you play the video of him signing off first? You have that, Chris?
I sure do. All right.
Okay.
Here we go.
This is my final sign off after 22 years of serving the citizens of the state of Washington, being asked to leave because I am dirty. Numerous fatalities, injuries. I've worked sick. I've played sick. We've buried lots of friends over these years. I'd like to thank you guys. I'd like to thank the citizens of Yakima County, as well as my fellow officers within the valley. Without you guys, I wouldn't have been very successful, and you've kept me safe and got me home to my family every night. Thank you for that. Wish I could say more, but this is it. So, State 1034, this is the last time you'll hear me in a state patrol car. And Jay Inslee can kiss my ass.
It seems like we don't have any sound, so I'm going to see if I can remedy that very quickly. For some reason, there we go. Share tab audio. It should work. I'm not sure. Well, I tell you what, it is difficult to get technology to work sometimes. All right, so what we're gonna do is come back over here. I'm sorry, y'all. Is there sound now? Nope.
Well,
Mr.
we're having
Culp,
all kinds of fun, aren't we?
we are having all kinds of fun.
Oh,
So
that's awesome.
I'm not really sure why we don't have sound, because we're supposed to have sound. But we will figure this out. I promise you, you guys are going to get this interview. If it kills me, I don't care what we do. We're gonna get this interview going.
Definitely.
Everybody can hear us, right? As some people are saying that we have sound, but the video doesn't have sound. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry, you guys. So we have other problems now. I hear alerts going on in the background. Is that for you, Loren?
No, I don't hear anything.
Huh.
I'm just yeah, nobody's got any audio.
That is weird.
Yeah.
And my audio just went out in my ears, so I can't hear anything. Oh, there we go. Can you hear me now?
I can hear you.
Okay, cool. Now I can hear you. Before I couldn't hear you because my headset turned off for some stupid reason.
Of course. Don't you love technology?
This is, you know what? I work very hard at trying to put together a smooth show, and then, you know, it just kind of all like falls apart. And
you know what? That's what happens when you do live shows. Stuff happens. It's real life.
No, so, I know it's real life.
I think people appreciate that.
All right. So why don't we go ahead? Apparently we have more time than we had anticipated. I'm going to go over a little bit.
We were going to talk about the campaign, where we're at.
Yeah.
As far as donations and stuff like that, let everybody know where you are in the campaign.
Yep, absolutely. So things are moving. We're in the fourth quarter now. There is a long time before Election Day. I mean, 8 months, 10 months, 11 months is a political eternity. You know, in the course of my career in doing this, I've seen 12-point leads evaporate in 6 weeks. I mean, it can. So we've got a lot of time. Mm-hmm. We are exactly where we need to be in the fourth quarter. I think we have over 1,800 or 1,900 individual contributions now. We are not funded by any sort of PACs or any sort of businesses. Microsoft hasn't given us any money.
Big Pharma hasn't given us any money, and they never will, by the way.
Yeah, absolutely.
No,
and
it's campaign just like the last one is funded by we the people.
Absolutely.
That's the way we like it.
I think our average contribution is $64. We're not out there hunting down billionaires and millionaires, though we did have one in the very beginning. Peter Thiel contributed to our campaign, but that was it. And he was the first one to get on board with Mr. Culp in that circle.
Good simply friend of because Mr. Trump's too.
Yep, absolutely, because he values individual freedom and liberty, and so and he also followed the governor's race and really liked what we had done there and what Mr. Culp stood for. The campaign itself, I think $64 or $68 is our average. We're not out there hunting down $2,900 contributions from billionaires. We're not holding big swanky parties at Mar-a-Lago trying to raise, hundreds of thousands of dollars in one felt swoop. That's really not how the We the People movement works.
Well, and there's a reason for that too. I don't want to be obligated to anybody. I don't want anybody to own me. You know, when I'm in Congress, I want to represent the people. And so that's the way that I prefer it. I don't want somebody, you know, dumping hundreds of thousands of dollars into my campaign, because then when I get into office, they're going to be like, hey, you know what? I helped you out. I need you, you know, wink and a nod kind of thing. I don't go for that.
Right.
I'm going into Congress to work for the citizens and to help turn this country around, because right now it's headed towards straight up communism. You know, we've got the commander-in-chief, the president of the United States, telling private CEOs of companies what they're going to do and how they're going to do it. And if right now it's if you have over 100 employees, tomorrow it might be 50. And then after that, I mean, where does it stop?
Right.
There's nowhere in the Constitution of the United States of America where it says that the president's authority and his job description, nothing in there that describes him telling business owners what they're going to do, period. The same with the governor. There's nothing in the state constitution that tells the governor that he can tell people what they're going to put into their body, whether they like it or not. Nothing. And we need to get people into office who understand that.
And to be clear, you're not anti-vaccination.
Absolutely not.
Yeah, just like during the campaign,
Nope, I am anti-big government telling people what they're going to put into their body.
And during the governor's race, you weren't anti-mask either.
Nope.
It was all about mandates. If you want to wear one, wear it. We think that's fantastic. If you don't want to wear it,
much heat from the news media, you know, and
sure did.
I think Inslee might have mentioned it once or twice that we're having a super spreader event. You know, it was just absolutely ridiculous.
Inslee was just jealous that he couldn't throw a rally where 3,000 people showed up.
Oh, he had a rally. He had a sign waving deal on the corner one time. I saw it on the news. He had like
that's right.
People showed up. Yeah, but anyway, moving on.
Moving on.
What a tool.
So with the audit, this is a question we get a lot. In fact, even tonight we see, you know, there's a lot of questions in the comments about the audit. You do support the audit. You do support the efforts of Representative Sutherland and those groups that are, you know, filing lawsuits and doing different things. And you know, the
Republican Party Election Integrity Committee,
yes,
headed by the Skagit County Republican Chairman.
Yep.
I'm 100% behind that. In fact, I went to one of their meetings they had in Skagit County, and they showed a lot of evidence.
Mr. Culp, I think we lost your video.
Of course we did. You still have my audio?
I do. I can hear you, but I cannot see you.
Oh, good. Maybe my lights went out. Did you pay the electric bill?
Oh, man, there was something I was supposed to pay today. I'm sorry about that. So
that's okay.
It says
my computer is trying to switch cameras. Yeah.
Oh, I see. Okay. So with the audit, ladies and gentlemen, there's no time frame on when that could happen, right? It could happen in 6 months. It could happen in a year. It could happen in 3 months. It could happen in, 3 years. We don't really know. There we are.
I switched to the other camera.
There you go. You're back. We don't know how long that is. And so there's been the question, Mr. Culp, well, why is he, if he's supporting the audits, why is he running for Congress? And, the answer to that question is very simple. You can sit there and wait and do nothing, or you can continue to be active, continue to be in the field, continue to be with we the people, continue to move the ball forward.
Right. And do I expect this Attorney General and our, now former Secretary of State and this governor to do anything with any evidence that's brought forward? They won't even look at it. The courts won't even look at it. But eventually, the truth's going to come out. And I think that we should audit all 50 states.
100%. I mean, what's to hide? I mean, it's why not?
There shouldn't be anything to hide. For Democrat or Republican, shouldn't matter. if it's above board, then it's above board. That's what audits are for. Companies audit themselves all the time. They're
100%.
Yeah, government entities get audited all the time. So
It's called accountability.
Yeah, exactly.
We had, there has been a big question about, not really a big question, but a lot of discussion about Kim Wyman and Kim Wyman's position on, motor voter. Her stance is that motor voter is just as secure as in-person voting, because, when you show up to get your driver's license, I mean, you're getting your ID. So shouldn't it be, just as secure as if you show up to the polling place and you have to show your ID to get your ballot? That has been, and I'm paraphrasing, she didn't say it like that, but that has been her position on this. What is your position on voter ID and mail-in voting, not just in Washington State, but also nationwide?
Yeah, and it hasn't changed. I've always had this point of view. You should have to prove that you're a citizen of the United States of America and that you live in the jurisdiction where you're voting. You should show up with your ID and get one ballot, go over and fill it out and hand it back in when you leave. That's it. There's no chain of custody with mail-in voting. It's ripe for fraud. And in Washington State in particular, they passed a law, I believe it was a year and a half, 2 years ago, where it is against the law for even law enforcement to ask someone their citizenship. So if you have a Department of Licensing that is automatically registering someone to vote, when they walk in to get an ID card or a driver's license, the box is automatically already checked when they're when the clerk is filling out that information at DOL. And so you don't know who these people are. You don't know where they're from because you can't ask them. And so if you have a utility bill, you can get an ID and you're automatically registered to vote.
And to be clear, in Washington State and also in Oregon and several other states, you don't have to be a citizen in order to get a driver's license. Is that
exactly
correct?
That's right. You walk in there with a utility bill with your name on it and an address in the state, and you can get an ID or a driver's license. It's that simple, and you're automatically registered to vote. We need to know. We need to know who's voting. We need to know that they are residents of the United States. I wouldn't expect that I could travel to a country in Europe or to China or Russia or Africa and go get involved in their elections because I'm not a citizen of that country. I mean, normal people would think, well, I'm not going to do that. That's not right. I don't live there. I'm not a resident. I'm not a citizen. But it happens all the time. And what also happens, it opens up the door for more fraud, because the voter list, people from whatever party can call people on the voter list and ask them if they have voted. And if they haven't voted, then someone could fill out a ballot for them and turn it in.
And that's something. Yeah, and that's something that it's called the ballot chase. That's actually a tool that campaigns on both sides of the field. It's as old as I can. It's much older than I've been in this business, and I've been around for 25 years. So it's called the ballot chase, ladies and gentlemen, where the Secretary of State's office typically puts out a list of people whose ballots they've received. In other words, they know Mr. Culp has voted, and so Mr. Culp's name comes off the list. And the list that is produced can be given to the campaigns or given to anybody who asks for it. And then I will have a team of people call those folks, hi, Mr. Culp, my name is Chris Gergen, calling from, such and such campaign. We see that you haven't voted. We really would love your support. If you could please get your ballot in just as soon as possible, blah, blah, blah. And then that just helps to remind, voters, because sometimes people forget, right? I mean, everybody lives, busy lives.
But I was told by the people that this happened to, people that were here on a visa, going to school or whatever, and they're not U.S. citizens, and they got phone calls asking if they had voted yet, and knowing that they couldn't legally vote, they said no. So that person calling, if they had access to the ballots, which a lot of people do, they could grab a ballot and fill it out and turn it in for that person. That's what it opens up the fraud to.
We get a lot of comments, well, why don't you guys do something? Like that's the phrase, do something. Well, let me tell you, when it comes to fraud, let's kind of maybe have a small discussion about this, Mr. Colt, because we went through this last year when we filed our lawsuit, and then there was a whole bunch of different stuff that ended up happening. Our lawyer left town, and if you want to prove, if I believe, and this is how the law is written in the state of Washington, ladies and gentlemen, if I believe Mr. Culp is not a citizen, then it is incumbent on me, not on the state, according to the law. It is incumbent upon me as the person making the accusation. I have to prove it, and then I have to go to the state and give them the proof. At that point, then the state will go and do its own investigation to see whether or not it's true or not. Now, if you have thousands and thousands of people on your voter rolls who are not here legally, number one, how do you know who they are? And number two, even if you can identify them, how can you prove that they're not here legally? So let's just say you can do that with 100 people. Imagine how heavy of a lift that is with tens of thousands of people, or just 1,000 people. And that's why, Glenn Morgan, our friend Glenn Morgan, great man. Yeah, We the Governed. He has a great organization. You guys need to support that. If you want to get involved in this, reach out to Glenn Morgan at We the Governed. They actually have a ground team that is going out and verifying addresses and so forth to true the vote, right? To make sure that this vote is the way that it needs to be, in addition to the audits, in addition to a lot of the different things that we're doing here. So there is a lot of, so when you say do something, or when people say do something, there's a lot of do something going on.
And and you add to that, Bill Bruck from Skagit County, with the voter integrity with the Republican Party, is doing a lot. They've same thing. They've got people, volunteers out canvassing. Same in Snohomish County. I think there's last I heard, there was about 12 counties that are canvassing to help clean up the voter rolls and to discover the fraud. And they have found a lot. Just in Skagit County alone, last I heard, there was about 11 to 1,200 people that shouldn't have, ballots that shouldn't have been counted. And these canvassers are going out with the voter rolls, and they're going and knocking on doors and talking to the people that are there, and finding out if the 20 or 24 other people that voted from that residence actually live there, and they've found about 11 or 1,200 people that shouldn't have voted just in Skagit County. And the legislative race in that area, I believe the Republican lost by about 600 votes. So, I mean, even if there's one, whose vote does that cancel out? Does it cancel out mine? Does it cancel out yours? I don't want anybody's vote canceled out. So,
and to be clear, ladies and gentlemen, your perspective on this, Mr. Culp, is that this isn't a Republican or Democrat thing. This is a we the people thing, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. If we don't have free and fair elections and only U.S. citizens voting, then, and we don't have any accountability, we don't have any integrity in our elections, then we're losing our republic. We're losing our country.
Red states should be audited. Blue states should be audited. Red counties should be audited. Blue counties should be audited. Because if everybody's playing on a level playing field. That's something the left loves to jump up and down about. Mr. Culp is talking about, equality and equity. I'm sorry, not equality. Equality is fine. Equity.
Right.
Everything's
got to be equity.
Everything's got to be well. Then let's talk about that. Then let's make sure that we're looking at everybody. Let's look at the Dems. Let's look at the Republicans. Let's look to make sure that the system for we the people is actually working for we the people.
Exactly. That's what it was set up for. Our government was set up to protect citizens' rights, and you can't protect people's rights if other people are voting and people are cheating in elections, because you don't get the representation that we the people are choosing. So it's a huge deal.
It really is. It really is. So I think we filled our time where you would have where you were supposed to interview Mr. LeMay or Trooper LeMay.
Yeah, that video with Trooper LeMay, you could probably upload that to YouTube, put a link on our Facebook page, right?
Yeah.
That probably be the best thing we do once you figure out why the sound wouldn't work, but it should work.
it worked earlier.
Yeah.
So I don't know why it didn't work right now. So
yeah.
I don't know.
It's probably
There's
those guys at Facebook that don't like us, maybe.
Right. Yeah. Or I don't know. It could be an operator error. I kind of don't think it is, but whatever.
Oh no,
so,
I've never known you to do anything wrong. So
no, I screw things up on a semi. You may not want to hear this, but I screw things up on a semi-regular basis.
Oh no way.
So we've got some. So in parting words, we've got some good media hits coming up for you. We've got some things that you've done. What are some of the latest media hits that you've done that people can go out and look at?
Oh my gosh, I don't have the list.
I'm sorry.
I've been doing quite a bit of media though, and hopefully we'll be coming up on some of everyone's favorite shows. We'll be letting you know. Yeah,
absolutely. So we've done Breitbart. We've done. Have we done Newsmax yet? Not yet.
Not this year. Haven't done Newsmax
yet, but we will. We've got Newsmax coming up.
I was on the water cooler.
OAN
last week.
Yep. Also, David Webb on Sirius XM.
XM,
David Webb.
Yep. XM. That was awesome.
Yep. That was great.
Yeah,
so
I got some messages from people that said that they heard that interview. So that's good. And they're
absolutely.
If they're not posted on our Facebook page, then they will be soon.
Yes, they will be. Yep, absolutely. So, ladies and gentlemen, we're doing what we need to do at this stage of the game. And Mr. Culp is always a trooper. He always does what he needs to do when he needs to do it. So we thank you all very much for all of your support. We love you guys. And next week is Thanksgiving. You want to do a show next week, Mr. Culp?
It is Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving on Thursday. We should do a show.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Tuesday. We'll do a. Maybe I can dress up as a turkey.
Yeah.
That's not going to happen. I just want you to know that's not going to happen.
You dress up like a turkey, and I'll act like a turkey. How about that?
There you go. There you go. Okay, Mr. Culp, any parting thoughts for the folks tonight?
Yeah, I just thank you all for joining us. I appreciate it very much. I keep looking up at the different camera. I got one on my computer working right now, but thank you guys very much for all the support. Thank you for being here tonight. And please be sure to share this with everybody. Share
absolutely. And if you don't know about Mr. Culp yet, head over to www.culpforcongress.com. Find out all about him. We love you guys, and
God bless you guys.
We will see you all next Tuesday night.
Stand up for America.